Welcome to episode number 3 of the solo travel guide, guys, where I give you tips and share my experience after traveling by myself, as well as working and living in different countries for the last decade. If you're watching this video and this series, guys, chances are you want to go and travel alone, but there might be something stopping you from doing it. As we have already spoken about the advantages of traveling by yourself and also how to overcome the fear of being by yourself abroad, today I'm going to give you some ideas, potential destinations for your first ever solo travel. Before I start, guys, I would like to share a couple of things with you. First of all, the first time ever you solo travel, you don't need to go to the other side of the world. Okay, guys? Start small and extend your radius gradually. The very first time I solo traveled when I was 18 years old, trust me, I was scared, but I just went from Italy to Spain. I didn't go to the other side of the world. This will make it much easier, trust me. Second of all, guys, keep in mind what you like, what your interests are in terms of city. Do you prefer to go to the busyness of the capital city? Do you prefer the countryside, the mountain, the beach? Keep that in mind. Anyway, where should you solo travel for the first time or in general? Here are my ideas as well as some tips towards the end of the video. Let's go. Destination number 1, guys, is, as I mentioned before, your own country. Exactly, your own country, guys, because what better way to overcome the fear of solo traveling when you are at home? Visit a part of your country you have not seen before, and if you have seen most of your country, you can even go back to a place where you have already been, but go by yourself this time. Being in your own country, guys, is much easier because you don't have the culture shock, the language barrier, or anything like that. So it's going to be very much easier, and it's going to prepare you and give you more confidence for the next time when you will go abroad. This is actually really fun, guys. I advise you not to underestimate, because I am back in Italy, my home country, right now in summer 2021, and I'm actually going to see a lot of places I've never seen before, and even some places I have been to many times by myself because, as you know, I vlog, and it's actually really fun anyway. I usually do short visits because they're not too far away from my hometown, but it's actually a very nice way to rediscover your country, and you don't have to go for like a week or so. A couple of days could be enough in this case. Option number 2, guys, are holiday resorts. This is basically a complex of hotels or just one hotel where people usually go to for vacation and to relax completely. So they usually have a pool, some beaches for physical activities, there is an open bar most of the times, especially if you're lucky and you get that option. There is also animation, so young people who actually entertain you and they make you be part of activities throughout the day and also during the night, where they might do also shows. I have done that, guys, twice in my own experience. I did enjoy it, but it's not, in my personal opinion, my kind of travel, just because it was too relaxing in a way. I mean, I would go to an holiday resort if I really was extremely tired and exhausted, just to relax, because most of the time, guys, in these places you tend to stay there. Maybe you have a family, you have children, you don't really want to get too adventurous or do things that might take too much time or that might get your children tired. So it's a very nice way, because you can be there all day long, from morning to evening, doing nothing. If you want to just lay down on your lounge bed, that's completely fine. Okay, so that's an option, so keep that in mind, guys. It cannot be for everyone, but on the good side of it, if you feel like going outside too much by yourself is not your thing just yet, that is a very good way to feel comfortable and safe, because you can be there all day long. You can even go outside and maybe just go around the area, so you don't have to go too far. Although these resorts usually also have some activities for tourists to do outside of their complex. And everything is there for you, guys. You don't have to think about where to go to eat, because the restaurant is there for every meal of the day. There is an open bar or a bar in general, so you can also meet people during your stay there and you can actually hang out with them. That's what I actually did in 2010 when I was in Tenerife. I was by myself in this holiday resort, and it was actually really nice to meet the animation guys, because they were really young, around my age. I went out with them, I hung out with them, and it was really fun. And although I was by myself, I actually enjoyed the company of other people too, so that's another advantage. I don't know, guys, you juggle it, you think about it, can be a good idea to start off, but if you don't like it, maybe you should try something else, like idea number 3, capital cities, guys. That's idea number 3 as your destination for your solo travel. Why? Well, when you go to a new country, well, usually people tend to go to the capital city of that country first before going and see smaller cities around or in the place in general. I get the point. I did it as well. Usually if I go to a new country, I always keep in mind the capital, and most of the times, not always, I tend to go there first. Now, capital cities, guys, are a metropolis, so they are big cities. You can do anything there. Everything is open usually Monday to Monday, 24/7. You can do everything. You can go and see museums, you can do activities in the open, outdoor, indoor. You can go to try the typical food in restaurants. You can go to the discotheque if you like. Everything you want, I'm sure there is something that is offering that kind of option. They also give you an idea of the country in general, guys. Not all the times though, because if you go to London, for example, I mean, you find people from all over the world. So if you really want to experience as a tourist, in my opinion, in my own personal and humble opinion, the real England, you should go somewhere else in a way, unless you are, for example, with an English family or something like that. Destination idea number 4, guys, again, not to underestimate, is big cities which are not capital cities. For example, if you go to Spain, Madrid is the capital city, but there are so many well-known cities such as Valencia or Granada or Barcelona where you can go to as well. Or if you speak about Italy, Rome is the capital city, but there are so many beautiful cities such as, and very well-known cities such as Milan, Naples, Florence, Bolzano, and things like that. So these are smaller cities, but still they have the feel of a very big city, of the capital city, should I say. Those are very good options as well, guys. I do love to go and see them, and especially because maybe from there I can go into smaller places around them, so you can have a feel of like the big city and also the kind of like the village in that country. Usually what I do personally, again, I tend to go to a capital city first and then move and see other cities if I can, or later on if I want to go back to that country, you know, I have still the option to go and see something different. Again, guys, not to underestimate, because they are full of surprises, they're very good, very fun in general. Now, guys, the options are infinite, of course, and again, it depends on where you go. If you stay in your country, in your continent, or you go somewhere else very, very far away from home. But now, guys, I want to give you some tips for your first very solo travel. First tip, guys, is that choose a country you have an interest in. If you know that one specific country draws your attention, you like, I don't know, you are inspired by the food, you would like to try the food, or you want to see a specific museum or do a specific activity that is done there, go there, because if you already know you have some interest in there, your stay, your journey, your first trip will be much more enjoyable. And of course, guys, it goes without saying that you should do some research before going, but you know, that, let's put that into brackets. Tip number 2, guys, is to avoid countries where there is a very big culture shock, especially for your first time, guys. If you feel like you're more on the defensive side, you're not ready yet to experience something too different, then don't go to a country where you can experience this. I'll give an example about Europe just because I'm here and I've traveled most of the time here. Every country in Europe is different. Every country has its traditions, food, and everything different. But in general, we are in the Western part of the world. They are Western countries. In general, the way of living is kind of the same. If I am from a small town and I've never traveled before, and I go myself to a very poor country, for example, where I can see things that can actually limit me or kind of like scare me, that's not gonna be good, okay? So keep that for later on when you have a bit more experience and you feel more adventurous. Tip number 3, guys, is to avoid villages or very, very small towns. Again, try to go first to capital cities or those big cities I was talking about before. This is because if you go to a village or a very small city where there are not a lot of tourists, you might face more struggles because people might not speak a second language such as English. It might be more difficult to have fun just because the activities offered are limited. Don't just go to the middle of nowhere. Go to a place where there are people, where there are tourists, where there are activities, where there are things to do. Again, guys, later on, when you actually have seen most of a country, then you can actually go into the deep and see all those small places tourists don't usually go to. Tip number 4, guys. If you want to have a pool of options to choose from, Google the best solo travel destination for, and you put your category here. For example, best solo travel destinations for adventure, or for beaches, nature, big cities, you name it, you will find it online. In case you really don't have an idea in general, you don't know what to pick, you can go for one of those listed online, just to give you a better idea if you really don't know where to start from. Anyway, guys, this is the conclusion of episode number 3 of the solo travel guide. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. Let me know down in the comments what you think, and also share with us, first, if you have not traveled solo yet, which is the first destination you would like to travel to. If you have already traveled solo but you're planning to go somewhere else, where would it be? As always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate every one of you here on my channel following and watching my videos, and I will see you very soon in episode number 4. Stay tuned. Bye!